I was alone. I was always alone. Though I could feel eyes watching my every move, I was more alone than I'd ever been. The walls were cold cement. I had a pretty good feeling that I was in a basement because there were no windows. It was just me, the mirrors, and the TV. It came on and shut off against whatever will I had. It showed me horrors, torture, illness, death beyond my wildest imagination. It showed me peace with nature and happy people. It showed me mundane things like moths, porch lights, and windowsills. Sometimes it went to that awful fuzz, snow I think it's called. The thing that comes on when the TV loses signal. The mirrors were worse. In them, for days, maybe a week, though it felt like much longer. I could see myself wasting away. I was dying from thirst, hunger, and filth. I had to relieve myself in the corner. The white bed sheets were stained with grime. I could always see myself, but what I couldn't see was a door. I didn't know how I got in there, and I didn't know why I was there. It was driving me crazy. I screamed. I broke the bed frame. I tried to break the mirror, but I only bloodied my hand. One day, when I could barely move as I stared at myself in the bed, the TV came on. A man in a Halloween mask said,
"You are free now."
It was like the clip was stuck on repeat. He chanted it over and over, but there was no way out. There wasn't anything I could do to make him stop or to escape. When I broke down in tears and sobs of agony, one of the mirrors pulled away like a sliding glass door, and there he was. I tried to get up, but I was too weak. He grabbed me under the arms and hauled me. He was strong. I asked him why he was doing this, but he ignored me. I begged him to answer. I begged for my life. I begged him to let me go. Instead, he took me to a bathroom. He washed me, fed me, gave me water, and after closing up the room I was in, he sat me in a chair facing the doorway. I could see into the room, so it was a two-way mirror, like I had suspected. He flipped a switch somewhere behind me, and suddenly all the mirrors in the room weren't mirrors at all. They were windows. Across from me was an empty room. It had a bathroom and a chair, just like the one I was in. The man grabbed my arms as I looked into the room to my right. There was a man with his head bowed. His hair was long and hung in his face. He was so thin I could count all of his ribs. Across from him, in the room to my left, there was a younger guy. He was less thin, but still ghastly. He was looking back at me with hopeless blue eyes. He was tied to his chair, too. We were all in identical rooms. What is this? I asked in absolute horror. Why are you doing this to us? At least he answered me then, and he said,
"I'm raising a demon. When I get the last man, when he has weakened enough in the thought of death in that room of his own accord, when he has been free of it for a week, when I bring you all together, taking your freedom away in that room, I will summon him with your demise. Enjoy your brief freedom, Mary."
And with that, he left. I yelled and screamed for him to come back. I demanded to know how he knew my name, but he never answered. He just left me there. The next time I saw him, he came in through the empty room and cleaned the room he planned to kill us in. He cleaned all the mess and repaired the bed frame. I saw him a few times after that. He would come in and take me to the bathroom, still bound. He would wash me without a word and feed me, after which I was right back where I started. I saw him do the same with the men in the other rooms. The man with the long hair barely even lifted his head anymore, and the younger man didn't look at me anymore. One day when I was sitting there thinking about my fate, the man walked into the empty room across from mine. He turned in and dragged a body in after him. It wasn't long until he took a new man into the room with the bed. He laid him on the sheets and left. The mirrors returned as he flipped a switch on the wall of the empty room, and dread set in. I had to watch as the third man wasted away. I couldn't hear him as he screamed, cried, and watched whatever was on the TV. The man in the mask came in every now and then to go through a routine of feeding, bathing, and watering me. I'm sure he did the same with the others. Eventually, the other man was strapped in a bed as I had been. He seemed to be in a daze as the TV flickered on. He was collected as I had been, yet somber. He was taken out of the room with the door wide open, and I could see the man in the mask caring for him as he cared for the other three. When he was in the chair, the masked man flipped a switch. This time, the long-haired man was looking at the man in the chair, and the other man had his head hanging low. I felt his anxiety when he looked at us all. Eventually, the masked man closed the door and left. When he came back, he cleaned the room again. It must have been a week. That's how long he said he would keep us anyway. He walked into the room where he kept the man with the long hair. He opened the door, then he opened my door. And lastly, he went to the new guy's room. He walked into the center of the room and told us,
"It's finally time."
He dragged us out one by one, the three of us pleading with him. The man in the mask ignored us. Instead, he hummed a merry tune, and when we were all gathered, he said,
"I release you."
I don't think he was talking to any of us. The lights in the room flickered wildly. He started chanting something in a weird language. The long-haired man moaned in horror. The new guy and I were pleading and yelling, and the other man was anxiously looking around the room. The masked man slid a silver dagger out from under his shirt. The blade was so polished. It glinted and flashed in the light as they jolted on and off. He went to the long-haired man, and the lights flashed. In an instant, the man was gurgling blood from his throat. Then, he went to the man who was there before me and did the same. Next, I knew it was my turn. I screamed and screamed, but I couldn't do anything about it. I was dead before I really knew it, and in fact, I don't even remember dying. I remember the blood-soaked blade at my neck and the darkness. When I woke up, I was here, in the room with those three men as company. Our entire existence is being trapped here, in this room, waiting until someone destroys the house and rids it from the demons within. We rarely see the demon, though. He likes to roam. He looks a lot like the man in the mask. Part of me wonders if he died with us. Another part of me wonders if he's upstairs. The basement hasn't changed, but the only time I've seen him is when the demon comes howling through our room with the mask as a disguise. Hi, 207, it's Miss Viola Swamp. Thanks for listening, commenting, and subscribing. Go check out my Facebook page and leave suggestions for stories you want to hear. I hope to see you in class next time.